time I tried AI food hacks, some are actually genius and might have even impressed me. So today I found a whole new batch of these crazy AI hacks to see if AI has actually gotten smarter or if it's still confidently serving pure slop. You guys know how much I love to bake, but this AI baking hack is one of the weirdest ones I've ever seen.
I'm Mayonnaise. Replace oil with me in chocolate cake. I add richness and moisture without any mayo taste at all.
Ugh, something about the thought of using mayo in my baked goods just doesn't sound right. Even though I know it's mostly made of oil and eggs, I just feel like this belongs in something savory, not chocolate cake. But we're gonna test that out. And to make it easy, I'm just gonna use a box cake mix right here. And we're gonna get very scientific. I have to measure everything out to be exact. 448 divided by 2, you get 224. And you get the rest, hopefully it's 224. Whoa, a bag is that heavy? I only ended up with 217. So let's just say they both get 220. It's like a difference of a teaspoon. So I'm gonna say it's pretty good. So I'm gonna make this according to the box's direction. Each bowl is gonna get 1 egg and a 1/3 cup of water. Now the only difference here is that I'm gonna add oil to our control, 1/6 of a cup, which is like shy of a 1/4 cup, and the same amount of mayo. Yeah, I'm looking at the ingredients here. There's also mustard, mustard seeds, salt, spice, salt, rosemary extract. AI says I'm not gonna be able to taste this, but I don't know. I mean, how would AI know? It's not like it has any taste buds. So let's go ahead and mix them up. Right off the bat, while whipping the batters up, I can tell that the one with mayo is a lot fluffier, thicker almost. There's like a thick ribbon that follows the whisk, whereas this one looks a lot more watery. But whether or not it adds more richness and moisture into the cake, we have to bake it up and see. So I'm gonna do them in a cupcake pan. 3 of our control in this brown liner, and our AI hack with the mayo get these fun wrappers. Oh yeah, the batter is so much thicker. All right, let's bake it up and see. Here's my control cupcake. I'd say it tastes pretty perfect as is. It's moist, not too much of a crumb, sweet, rich, chocolatey. But can mayo top that and make it better? I am a skeptic on this one. Let me see if it has hints of mustard and rosemary extract to it though. I'm scared. There's a weird taste to it. I can't really put my finger on it, but it's not chocolatey and delicious like this. It tastes like if you left your cake in the fridge overnight and it absorbed some of the fridge flavors in there. That's what this cupcake tastes like. But texture-wise, I will say that it's more rich, like a fudgy brownie. I just don't think that I like the taste of the mayo, even though it says you can't taste it. Yeah, there's little hints of something that you can taste in there. Somehow I don't like a mystery weird flavor in my chocolate cupcake that could potentially be like the fridge. So I'm gonna stick to the regular way of making chocolate cupcakes and give this AI slop 5 out of 10. We've been making scrambled eggs the wrong way. Allegedly. And then next time we cook up scrambled eggs, AI thinks...
Next time you make scrambled eggs, mix a 1/4 teaspoon of cornstarch with a splash of milk before you whisk it. You'll never make eggs without it again. Take them off the heat before they look fully done. That last bit of heat keeps cooking them softly. Right before you serve, drizzle a little olive oil over the top. Aromatic, glossy, restaurant finish. Share it with your breakfast person.
I usually make my scrambled eggs plain as is without any milk or cream or anything. I feel like that's the best way to make scrambled eggs, but to make it restaurant quality, I'm gonna test AI scrambled eggs recipe against my girl Ina Garten's scrambled eggs, because those are supposed to be super creamy and delicious too. So we're gonna make the professional chef's recipe first, which is just 2 eggs, a splash of milk or half and half, salt and pepper, and whisk it up. Her breakfast recipes are iconic, so I'm not gonna doubt this recipe for a second. But AI thinks we need to add cornstarch to the whole mix to make it nice and creamy. I feel like this would end up making it clumpy. But here goes the 1/4 teaspoon with a splash of milk. It didn't say anything about salt and pepper, so I guess I'll just whisk it. The cornstarch did seem to mix in with the egg mixture. I don't see any lumpiness of cornstarch floating around, so I guess we'll cook it up. Okay, so for Ina's scrambled eggs, she says to melt a little bit of butter on medium-low heat, and then we pour in the eggs and let them sit for about 20 seconds. Then I have to gently push the eggs from the edges towards the center with a rubber spatula to form large, soft curds. Ooh, look at those ribbons. And then the excess liquid just kind of pulls up and cooks in that delicious butter. And similar to AI's direction, we have to remove it from heat when they're still slightly glossy because they'll finish cooking from the residual heat. And that is exhibit A. And now for the AI version, it doesn't say specifically to cook it in any type of butter, but I do see a pat of butter on top of their scrambled eggs. So I'm assuming they do add it at some capacity, but I'm just gonna go ahead and heat up my pan. And because I don't want it to totally stick, I'll just swipe a little bit. Take it off heat before it looks cooked. And then to make the eggs restaurant quality, I'm supposed to drizzle a little bit of olive oil to make it nice and glossy. But because at the restaurant, I would season it with salt and pepper, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So let's try our control. The eggs by itself looks nice and fluffy, not dried out. Buttery and delicious. I don't even need ketchup for this. But let's see what cornstarch and olive oil can do to our eggs. Whoa. There's still a nice jiggle. And it is fluffy. And comparing them side by side, the Ina Garten one looks a little bit flatter, while this one does hold up its structure a little better. Well, let's taste it. That kind of blew my mind. It has the texture of almost like a custard souffle egg. I don't know how to explain it, but it tastes a lot fluffier than this one. I know this sat for a minute, but the difference shouldn't be that drastic. Did AI just teach me how to make the best scrambled eggs? My mind might be blown. I'm gonna give this hack a 9 out of 10. AI thinks that we've been cooking our ground beef wrong our whole life and never knew it.
You've been cooking ground beef wrong your whole life and never knew it. Add 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda per pound. Let it sit 15 minutes. That's what keeps it tender instead of chewy. Once it hits the pan, don't touch it. Let it sear. And always finish with 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire per pound.
Interesting. By the looks of it, I think we're making burgers, so let's test this theory out. I have my ground beef. Let's split it in half. This one's my control, and this one's our AI hack. But I'm supposed to add a 1/4 teaspoon per pound to the ground meat. I'll just do 1/8 of a teaspoon. That's not that much. Let's mix it up. And the baking soda is supposed to make it tender and juicy instead of chewy. And if this actually works, I might like it better than that burger butter hack that it showed me in the last video. Now let's let it sit for 15 minutes. And now to cook it off, it says once it goes onto the pan, don't touch it because it creates a nice sear. I feel like that's how we make our smash burgers. Control, baking soda. I think a crust is starting to form, so now is a good time to flip it over. Ooh! Our baking soda one doesn't have as beautiful of a crust. But now to finish it off, it says we should always season it with some Worcestershire sauce. So like steak sauce? Let's see if the meat from our control is nice and tender, or if it's chewy. It's perfectly cooked. I mean, there's a bit of a chew in there, just in the way that normal homemade hamburgers taste. It's not bad. But let's see if our baking soda Worcestershire sauce enhanced patty is any better. I actually really like the flavor of the Worcestershire sauce in there, but in terms of chewiness or tenderness, it's really hard to tell. I would say the difference is negligible. With ground beef, there's always that little bit of a chew in there. It's not gonna be tender like a filet mignon. But I do like the Worcestershire sauce, and both pieces have a beautiful crust because we left it alone. So I'm gonna give this AI hack a 7 out of 10. Okay, next one.
Peel me, Freeze me for 3 hours, I turn into gummy candy. Same citrus taste, chewy gummy texture. Zero artificial anything.
Last time I froze an orange, I'm pretty sure it was hard as ice, but maybe because this one only freezes for 3 hours, it's not enough to fully form into ice crystals, but I'm skeptical of whether it'll be that chewy gummy texture. So let's try it. So first we have to peel, and based on the AI animation, they freeze them in individual wedges. So let me separate these cuties. Set the timer for 3 hours, and we're gonna check on these later. I've tried some pretty crazy food combos, but they were all invented by humans. These are from AI, and since the AI doesn't have any taste buds, I'm not really sure I believe these combos, but they look interesting. So let's go ahead and start the weird food combo segment. This first one is with the strawberry.
Crack some black pepper on your strawberries. I know it sounds insane, but it pulls out my sweetness and makes me taste way more intense.
Last that I heard, black pepper on anything gives it a spicy kick, but in this case, you're expecting me to believe that it draws out the sweetness from strawberries? I don't know if I believe that. So I'm gonna cut both in half. This one looks like it might be sweeter than this one, so we're gonna test them both. Let's taste our control. A little bit of a tartness at the end, but still a very sweet strawberry. Let's see if this insane hack actually draws out the sweetness and makes it more intense. I almost don't want to believe it, but let me try it with the baby strawberry. Control. Because this one is already super sweet. Black pepper. How is that possible? I don't get the black pepper taste at all, and ironically, it is more intense. And the thing that I noticed about the first strawberry, this one left a sour kind of aftertaste. This one didn't, from the same strawberry. I don't know how it managed to do that, but this hack actually worked, and my mind is blown. Genius, 9 out of 10. This next weird AI food combo has me scratching my head.
Je suis la pastèque. Ne me regarde pas comme ça. Mets-moi un peu de moutarde jaune. Oui, de la moutarde. L'acidité coupe ma douceur et ça crée quelque chose d'addictif.
Not only because it's completely in French, but to pair watermelon with yellow mustard, I fear is going a little too far. So according to this other AI hack, we should be cutting our watermelon like this. Like this or like this. Personally, I think like this is the only way to cut watermelon. But now I'm supposed to put mustard on this watermelon like it's a hot dog? How about just a little dot? Because the acidity from the mustard is supposed to cut the sweetness of the watermelon, creating something addictive. Why would I want to cut the sweetness of the watermelon? I don't know, but here goes. My brain is not sure how to react right now. I still don't know what to make of this because it literally just tastes like mustard on watermelon. You first taste the tangy mustard and then the watermelon, it's still sweet. So I'm super confused, but you guys try this combo at home too and let me know. But I'm gonna say this was AI slop and it gets 5 out of 10. Now this one might be too good to be true.
I'm dark chocolate. Put me with sharp cheddar. The bitter, salty, and creamy together is the same science behind salted caramel. But nobody talks about this one.
Nobody talks about this one because maybe it's not true. I don't know. It sounds a little far-fetched, but dark chocolate with sharp cheddar is supposed to give it a more caramelly taste. Here is a 70% dark chocolate, and I guess I'll try it with a slice of sharp cheddar. It's a chocolate cheese sandwich. Let's see if the bitter, salty, and creamy together will in fact taste like salted caramel. I don't know. All I get are different textures, like the cheese is soft, a little bit salty, but it doesn't by any means mix well with the chocolate because it's so hard. It does leave a salty aftertaste in there, but to me, it just tastes like cheese with chocolate. No hints of salted caramel, but you guys need to try this weird food combo and tell me what you think. But in my opinion, I don't think it really works. So I'm gonna give this AI slop a 4 out of 10. This one has me scratching my head a little bit because listen to this.
Next time you have buttered toast, sprinkle on some salt and cinnamon. It cuts the sweetness and turns me into something you will crave every morning.
Next time I have butter and toast, it wants me to sprinkle cinnamon and salt because apparently this combination is supposed to cut down on the sweetness. But I'm a little confused because where did the sweetness actually come from? Last that I checked, butter and toast just taste like butter and toast. Wow. It's on the savory side. Jam's what makes it sweet, but AI has its own taste buds, I guess. Let's try this and see if it's something I'll actually crave every morning. I will say, I don't think I've ever had cinnamon with salt before, and I'm not sure it's a combination that I quite enjoy. Cinnamon should always be sweet, and I'm gonna give this AI slop a 2 out of 10. This final weird food combo might redeem the rest, cause
Squeeze lime and chili powder on your mango. The acid and the heat make my sweetness explode.
I can see how that could be good. It's kind of like a homemade tahini, but let's test it out. Here's my mango. I'm gonna score it like the AI video. Haha, beautiful. Now let's squeeze it with a little bit of lime and sprinkle on chili powder. Let's see if this makes the mango flavor explode. The lime helps make it so juicy, and then the chili powder is not spicy. I can see people liking this combo, so I'm gonna give our final weird food combo, that's not super weird, a 9 out of 10. But the rest can go. Okay, it's been 3 hours. Let's see if these orange slices give that chewy gummy texture with no artificial flavor. I believe the flavor part, but chewy gummy texture, I don't know, it feels pretty frozen solid. But I could be wrong. Brain freeze. But if by chewy gummy texture it means like those disgusting frozen gummy bears, I'm gonna say this is a total sham, and it definitely didn't work. It's more icy than anything. There's a little bit of a softness to it, but definitely not a bouncy, gummy, chewy candy. This hack gets 3 out of 10. Making rice has been a way of life, but AI thinks it can make my good rice even better. So we're gonna test that theory.
Want fluffy rice instead of a sticky clump? Toast it in butter first, 2 minutes before the water. Every grain stays separate, with a flavor plain rice never has.
But then I found this other AI video that's screaming at me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! You didn't rinse me first? That cloudy water is starch. Rinse me or I turn into sticky mush.
Okay, I'll rinse the rice. You should be rinsing it anyways. And of course, we should rinse our rice until the water runs clear. But then to make our rice fluffy instead of clumpy, I should be toasting the rice with butter dry like this for 2 minutes. Okay, I dropped in the butter. Now it's melting. I try to drain out as much water as I could after washing it, but there's still a little bit left. Everything is sticking to the pan a little bit, so I'm just gonna let it sit for 2 minutes from here. Okay, let's see what it looks like. It's nice and toasty, and it's not sticking as much, but I could see a little bit of browning on my rice. I don't know how it's gonna taste. So let me go ahead and add the water now. Oh! And we'll let it cook. Okay, the water is evaporated, so I'm just gonna cover it up, and we'll let it finish cooking in the back. Our rice is ready and steaming hot. Let's see if it's fluffy or clumpy. Okay. The grains are separating nicely, and it's not super clumpy the way that my traditional Vietnamese rice would be, but let's see how it tastes. I can definitely taste the butteriness of it and that little bit of toastiness from earlier. And while I feel like this would be good as a rice pilaf, I'm not sure if my Vietnamese grandmother would approve. But there's more than one way to make rice, so I'm gonna give this AI hack an 8 out of 10. But let me put this back on the stove to keep warm. If you want the creamiest mashed potatoes of your life,
Want the creamiest mashed potatoes of your life? Warm up a block of cream cheese and drop it in before you mash. It melts in rich and smooth, and people will be begging for the recipe.
potatoes. I don't even know if I can trust AI if it can't say potatoes right. So to make mashed potatoes, I usually add butter and milk, but from the looks of the animation, it's kind of inconclusive because it's already mashed. So am I supposed to add the block of cream cheese in with those ingredients or just the cream cheese? I'll just do what it told me to. So I have to first warm the block of cream cheese up in the microwave. Okay, it's nice and soft. Let me drop it in. Let me mix this in a little bit to make it easier to mash. And cream cheese should already be nice and salty, so I'm not gonna do anything else. And now we mash. I feel like it needs a little bit of liquid because it's looking kind of dry. But a whole block of cream cheese, is that enough to make it creamy and delicious? Or is it gonna be overkill? The potatoes are starting to get a little creamy and is breaking down quite nicely. But something inside of me just wants to add some milk and salt and pepper and butter. We've reached mashed potato consistency. It's a little dense, but fluffy. Let's see how it tastes. I don't think anybody's gonna be asking me for this delicious recipe because it needs a lot of work. Now that's creamy, fluffy mashed potatoes. Their recipe hack gets 6 out of 10. Is something burning? Oh no, my rice! Oh no! I left the burner on and it torched the rice.
Hey, smell that burnt rice smell? Don't throw me away. Just place a piece of bread on top of me, and I'll pull that burnt smell out fast.
So if I put a piece of bread on top, it draws out the smell, but I feel like it's still gonna taste burnt. Let me test that. I guess we'll let it sit for 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. The burnt smell is a lot more faint. If anything, it smells like bread. So I'm wondering if this bread really did absorb all the smell. It still smells like bread, but does the rice taste burnt? From here, there's a little bit of a faint burnty smell, but nothing crazy. I smell butter too. I think my burnt rice might have gone a little too far because not only does it have a smoky flavor, it also has a smoky, buttery, burnt butter flavor. So I don't know if this hack works. Possibly if I didn't torch it this far, but I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. So in my last AI video, it says that rolling a lemon will help it get more juice. But in the case of an orange,
I'm orange. I'm way easier to peel if you roll me on the counter with pressure first. It loosens my peel from the flesh.
I guess that makes sense. Rolling it with a little bit of pressure loosens the skin from the flesh. So we're gonna test it, one with my control and one with the AI hack. So even though this is the baby orange, I would say it does stick to the flesh quite a bit. But overall, I feel like oranges are usually pretty easy to peel. Now let me give this one a quick roll with a light pressure. That should be enough. Honestly, it's coming out just the same. Based on these two, the results are inconclusive, but I have a big orange, which, like I said, generally I feel like oranges are pretty easy to peel. So let me just try it on this. Watch, it splatters me with all the juice. I mean, if anything, I feel like it caused bruising and broke my orange slices. Like right here. It definitely doesn't feel any easier to peel or that the flesh had loosened up from the skin. So I'm just gonna say this is AI slop and I'm gonna give the hack 3 out of 10. But now I have all these orange peels.
Twist an orange peel over the hot cup. The oils hit the steam and your whole kitchen smells like a coffee shop. Cost you nothing.
I guess that makes sense where the oils from the orange peel becomes what you can call aromatherapy. So let's test this. Okay, I'm gonna pull my shot. Okay, I have my piping hot cup of coffee. So now I have to twist the orange peel so that the oil somehow mixes in with the steam, but then in the animation, it shows the oil dripping into the coffee. Ooh, I do see a little bit of oil going in. They're like microscopic dust particles for the oils that got in. And somehow my house is supposed to smell like a coffee shop. It kind of does. It smells incredible. I have like the lightest, faintest aroma of the oils in the coffee cup, but the house smells like a combination of roasted coffee and orange. It smells really good. But then this video takes it one step further and says if you like a latte,
Try to stir maple syrup into the milk before you steam it. Smooth caramel, no grainy sugar. Tastes like a $6 latte.
okay, let's try it. Have some milk. Let me go ahead and add some maple syrup and then we steam her up. It's supposed to be smooth caramel, no grainy sugar. But if you really think about it, when you order a latte, the baristas are using syrup, so there wouldn't be any grainy sugars in there. So I'm not really sure what it's talking about, but it sure does look like a $6 latte. Ooh. Oh yeah. I'm not fully convinced about the milk with the maple syrup because you could just pour the maple syrup in separately and it'll do the same thing, but I really do like the orange peel oil in there because it gives it the lightest hint of flavor. So I'm gonna give the milk and maple syrup hack a 5 out of 10 and the orange peel hack an 8 out of 10. According to AI, this carrot that I found at the bottom of my refrigerator drawer isn't old. It's just limp and dehydrated.
I'm carrots. I go limp because I'm dehydrated, not old. Soak me in ice water for 15 minutes and I'll get crunchy again.
I don't know if I believe that because look how sad this carrot is. And honestly, it does look old. So let me go ahead and soak it in an ice bath. I've definitely seen people soak their fresh carrots in water to keep it fresh longer, but I've never seen them revive a sad carrot like this. If this actually works, I might try this with all the dead vegetables in my refrigerator. Set the timer for 15 minutes and I'll check back on this a little later. According to AI, it thinks that we've been doing everything wrong, including the way we eat this kiwi.
I'm kiwi. You can eat my fuzzy skin. It's totally edible and has even more fiber than the inside. Just wash me first.
It's funny how AI thinks that we can eat the fuzzy outside because it's a robot. But it says the skin is edible and it has more fiber, probably from all of the fuzz. I don't know about you, but the way I like to eat my kiwi is like this. I cut it in half and scoop it out with a spoon. Something about having no fuzz makes it taste good, so I don't know about this, but it says to wash it first, so let's do that. And I guess we take a bite out of it like an apple? I don't know about this. That's actually not terrible. I guess the fuzziness is only just ticklish and scratchy on your lips upon first bite, but once it's inside of your mouth, you don't really feel the fuzziness. It's like kissing someone with a beard, which I don't particularly enjoy, but I guess it's not terrible, and I do waste less of the kiwi. But the fuzzy still feels weird, so I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10. This is how professional chefs have taught me how to deseed a pepper. Basically, you cut the top, the bottom, and then you slide the knife, roll it along the edge, and the seeds just pop out like that, leaving you with a very clean bell pepper. But according to AI, everybody's been doing it wrong. I don't know about you, but that was pretty easy to me.
I have a release button on top height. Oh, watch this. Just push my stem straight down with your thumbs.
That's not
until
even
it
a
snaps.
thumb.
Then gently pull the whole core out.
Oh, so the core ends up looking like another baby bell pepper. I don't know if I trust this hack, especially since the animation didn't even get the body parts right. But I guess the bell pepper has a release button on top. So it says to take your thumbs and just press down the core until you hear it click, and then you can pull it out. Oh! I heard the click, but it's still attached along the stem, so I'm just gonna try to pull it out. And then maybe mine will come out with a baby bell pepper. Ah! And now it's stuck. Oh my gosh. Somehow I feel like the chef's version was much easier, and this is definitely gonna make seeds go everywhere. Ugh. Not only am I getting seeds everywhere, I'm also breaking the bell pepper. Yeah, I'm gonna say trust the professional chef because this AI hack was so much more complicated. 3 out of 10. So much for not getting seeds everywhere. It's been 15 minutes and our ice has melted and the water super cold. But the carrots, is it still limp and sad or is it back to its crunchy, fresh glory? I don't know about you, but even a dehydrated carrot like this, that's not super fresh, still holds its shape without too much of a bend. This one, unfortunately, is still sad and limp. So no, while this old carrot may be dehydrated, it's still just an old sad carrot. So I'm gonna say this hack did not work and it gets a 2 out of 10. But if you like this video, go watch me test more AI food hacks. Bye!